I'll let you go. Kevin Stefanski, again, this was this morning on ESPN Cleveland's The Really Big Show, talking about his style of coaching and why it's important for him to be who he is.
I can only be what I am, and to the players, to the coaches. You can be even keel, you can be fire, you can grab them by the face mask. You can still hold people accountable, regardless of your style, if that makes sense. My approach with our players is I'm very, very transparent. I tell the truth. When sometimes you don't like to hear it. Players, I get that there's certain messages that players don't like to hear. I don't know what my role is something you might hear from a guy, and that really means I don't like my role.
Right.
So I just tell them how it is, and I understand where it's the question. I think for me, it's trying to just be fair. At every single junction point with this team. Be fair when you have a player issue. Be fair when you have something coming up. At each spot, and I think we've done that. When you lose, when you win 7 games, it gets magnified.
And that's absolutely true. Winning cures everything. Losing creates all kinds of issues.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I loved everything that he said. I don't know where people got this idea that he doesn't hold players accountable. I mean, when you had the issue with OBJ, they tried to sit down, talk it out. OBJ was released. They had an issue with David Njoku. They sat down, they talked it out. Next thing you know, David Njoku's happy and producing, ends up getting a massive contract. He disciplined Perrion Winfrey. He disciplined Myles Garrett. I think Kevin Stefanski, he does a really good job with that. He doesn't get enough credit. I had one guy telling me that he wished the reason he doesn't like Stefanski is because he doesn't show enough emotion. He doesn't get angry on the sideline. But I've always said you have to be who you have to be genuine. You have to be sincere, be yourself. Wade Phillips, back there in his day, people would always talk about how he was way too nice. Well, that's just who he is, And I think if you tried to be fake, you tried to, fit yourself into a certain box, people are going to see that you're bogus, so they're not going to follow you. So I think he's right. You got to be yourself. And that's who he is. I think he's transparent. He's honest. I think for the most part, the players do respect him. And I think we keep seeing that. And he said it right there. The problem's magnified when you're losing, but because back when they were winning, he was fantastic. So I think they start winning this year, things will be different.
I agree wholeheartedly. And the people that want a yeller and a screamer, let me ask them this. Would you like your boss sitting there screaming at you every time you messed up? These guys know when they know when they blow a coverage. They know when they didn't do something. So he's consistent, and I think that's the important thing with professional